Okay, refreshing the page one last time and we'll call the vote. All right, so the first thing we're doing is decorations, folks. Let's remove that pinned comment. All right. Boo, we can switch over to the main screen there now. Oh, right, because it's there's a delay there, so I can't quite see what I'm doing. So let me switch over here. While the stream is going, I won't be asking questions. I won't be answering any questions. But while we take pauses to vote on the next thing to add, then I will answer some questions while we're waiting. All right, so the first thing we're doing is decorations. Yep, decorations. Okay, cool. So to begin with, what we're doing here, we have the, let me just show you really quick. Create, starters. Right here, tile-based builder/strategy game. So we're starting with that starter to begin with. And with this, you can just place objects into the scene. Let me pop over to 3D because you all voted for a 3D game. There we go. So we have just our camera here going down into the scene. When I preview the game, you can see that it starts off with things I can click on the UI and place objects. And I can put it away and put stuff. So we'll start with this as the beginning of our tower defense game. And you asked for decorations. So we'll go to the asset store because I didn't have models prepared, but we can get some. Let's go for rocks. Add. I always imagine like a medieval theme whenever I do a tower defense game. It's maybe not the default for everybody, but that's what I do. So we'll go with something like that. And the background here, the ground image, this is a 3D box, really. Okay. Let's get a tiled sprite. Grass. And tiled sprite. And I'll just grab this. Alrighty. Let's grab that. Should be able to. Yes, I can. Awesome. There we go. Now we have grass. Let's take this board. This placement board in the starter project is used for something. It's used to check where you're allowed to place the towers and things. So we'll keep that the way it is, but it's not great looking. So we'll take that and... Oh, no. Okay. We will just hide it. Placement grid. Okay. We'll hide it at the beginning of the scene, and we'll place some trees and things. Ooh. Now I've got the 3D grid on. Or turn that off. I love it. It's great for placing things, but it makes it a little visually noisy. And when you grab things, they automatically snap to the next thing below the cursor anyways. So that should be fine. Ba-ba-da-ba. And rotate. There's some randomness. And now everybody, just so you know, when the stream ends, we'll share this project. So me making it pretty is going to make somebody's life a little bit easier later on if they want to take it and go play with it and make an actual game. Oop, I think I put 3 in there. I did. There we go. And we'll put some big old rocks around. All right. Get the camera object out of the way. Make this one nice and big. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So now when I preview the game, yep, the placement grid is hidden and I'm good to place things, but I can still see where they're going to. So there we go. I think I might move that big rock out of the way. I thought it would look nice, but it doesn't. So there we go. All right, anything else we should do here? The base is going to be something we'll add later. So, yeah, I would consider that decorated. Save that, and I'll pop back into the chat. So we decorated the scene. Now, I added that one in because I thought it'd be nice to make it look nice, but we'll just stick with the 3 options from now on for the next ones. Next mechanic, I'm going to make the poll over on Twitter really quick. Add a base. So if you pop over to Twitter now, you'll see it in just a second, but I'll share the link in the chat. Oxford Towers. Yes. Post. All right. The post is just out. So if you pop over to Twitter again, I'll share the link in the chat. And pinned. All right. So if you go over that link, we'll give it 5 minutes. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic. We'll give it 5 minutes. If you go over to that link, you can vote on the next mechanic. And I will read the chat while I wait. Actually, the next thing to think about. Oh, one moment. Boo, did you switch the screen over to the build me assets? All right, sorry about that. I'm back. There was an issue there with the. I got confused. I thought the live stream was showing, and anyhow. So right now we're taking a few minutes to break to go vote on the next mechanic. Or well, all we did was decorate the scene, but we'll vote on the next thing. The link is up in the pinned comment there on in YouTube in the chat. So if you go over there, you can do that. The options are add the base, enemy spawning, costs for the tower. And while you're waiting, we will talk about the discount code actually in the bottom of the screen, if you can see it. If you were thinking about getting a subscription, the discount code is on the bottom. It will give you, I believe, 20% off, yeah. 20% off the yearly plan. Alrighty. So far there are 5 votes and it looks like add a base. So we'll give it a couple more minutes. Hello there, developer Ivan. Please help. I was making a rough game. My player has 2 jump animations. One is called idle to jump. The other is actual jump. How do I make them connect so they work with the space key? Idle. Oh, so one is like if you're standing still, and the other one is if you're actually jumping. Like if you're like moving around and then jump. I would probably use a string and connect the word idle and jump, and then like motion and jump together. So then you have one animation called idle jump and one animation called actual jump or motion jump, and then use the string to pick the animation that plays. There's a great video by Windstreak, I think it is. He does a video about Mario with states and how to choose the different animations. So like the little character who's standing still or running around versus like the powered up version versus like the Tanuki suit version. And so if you use that state logic there where you make a string where you combine 2 strings together, you can pick animations that way. So if you look up that video online later, that might help you with that. Game for old consoles like NES, Sega with this engine. Anything is possible. I've never heard of anybody ever doing that. But anything is possible if you're stubborn enough and try. But there's no one-click option to export to like NES or Sega. Okay. And let's see what we got. So it looks like the next thing we're adding to the game is a base. All right. So we'll just go into the game scene here. Back to the asset store because I do not have models for all these things prepared. Let's go search for 3D models. Add a base. Oh, you know what? We talked about the AI and adding things in and how it handles adding things in. So let's just do that really quick. We'll see if it can handle adding in a 3D base, since that's a pretty simple thing to do. Go to... No. Let's see if I just... Can you build this for me? Question mark. Add a 3D base or castle object to the scene for me. Let's see what it picks. I assume it'll pick something like medieval-ish. There's a couple of things in there like towers and things, and 3D box, 3D model. Model. I'm doing great today. How are you doing? Game plus fun? Gameplay fun. Sorry. Just base. Name it base. Oh, am I in? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong mode. Oh, there. Oh, sorry. There's a switch. Okay. Thank you, Florian. Add a 3D model of a base for the game. You can pick something like a castle. Hopefully my clicking isn't too bad. I have a very mechanical microphone, keyboard. All right, let's see what it does. Yeah, man. Base game scene. Base. Yeah, add it there. Add it to the scene. What kind of game is this? It's tower defense. We put up a vote last time on the YouTube channel, and they asked for a 3D game, and most of the comments were about 2D games. So, sorry, most of the comments were about tower defense games. Ooh, there's the base. Oh, perfect. That is exactly what we needed. Okay. Thank you, AI. We'll take it from here. Okay, so make that bigger because it doesn't quite fit the size. There we go. And we'll turn it around. Let's make it exactly 90. I think we'll have the enemies come from the left-hand side and come to the right. That should be the simplest thing. Can I see that in the preview? Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe back a little bit, maybe a little bit bigger. Yeah. Oh. Oh. I'm still not quite used to the 3D scene. Make a lot of 2D games. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should be good. Does GDevelop have custom collision hitbox? There is a 3D mesh thing that came out for the 3D physics behavior. It's in one of the latest updates. Sorry, I shouldn't be focusing on that right now. I should be doing the mechanic. All right, so that looks like it's good for me. I'm happy with that as the way in there. And the AI did pick the thing I wanted, which was like a little castle model from the asset store. So that's perfect. Okay, so we'll get the enemies to come in from this side. And we'll do that really quick with a marker. I'm just going to set this up ahead of time because it's quick and easy. And that way we know which way the game is going to play out. Physical. We'll just use a little red marker here. Spawn. Save. Cool. And we'll set it to the center. 32, 32. All right. Oh. Spawn. 2D scene and place it there. So we'll get the enemies coming from this side over here. Let's turn on the grid again so we can 32, 32. There we go, perfect. So they'll come in this way over there. And rocking away. Okay. So switch to here. So now we're set up. We're good to go. I'm going to do another really quick poll. That was kind of a short one, but head over to Twitter and get ready. So we added a base. So we can either add health for the base, enemies spawning, and we'll also make them move towards the base. And then we already have towers, so we can place those already. So let's go for cost of the towers and post. All right. Here we go. That is the new link. I'm just sharing there in chat, placing the pin message. All right, so there's the pin message there now. Head over to Twitter, vote on the next thing. These ones should probably take a little bit longer as well because it's, well, they're big, they're mechanics, not just decorations and setup. All right, so while you're doing that, I'm going to pop over to the chat and read some comments. Let me see. Bigger, better, stronger. Why do the shadows look weird on the objects? I'm not sure what you mean exactly. These ones, is it because they're they're low poly, so they have like little chunks on them. Is that what you mean? What if you ask something complicated from AI, like make a door open by the right click? I mean, it can do it. It's the AI has shown me a lot of really interesting things. Particularly, there was one time with the audio, I didn't realize you could put audio in as an expression, and it did it. And I was like, oh my god! So like I've been using the engine for 4 years now, and it still managed to show me something new, which is pretty neat actually. I think it's really useful for like learning things, especially. But it can generally do a lot of things, especially when the objects are already in the scene, and it just needs to set up the logic for them. I use going. Okay. Nothing on. Base. So did the AI build the base or did it grab the assets? It grabbed the assets. So it's got access to all the assets in the asset store that are free to use, right? So it can grab all of those, and thankfully there's a lot of them in there. So it can get a lot of cool assets. All right, let's check the vote really quick. So this will be a bigger mechanic. Enemy spawning looks like the one we're doing now. I'll give it a few more minutes. 2 more minutes. I'll give it 2 more minutes, and we'll see what happens. So last call, folks. The vote is happening over on Twitter. The post is, or the link is in the chat. Bro, when I try to import assets, it says I could not load. Yeah, sometimes with an internet connection, there's an issue with being able to import assets and things like that. I personally use the desktop version because it's the I find it the most reliable one to use. But then I have to worry about version control and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard to say which one is actually better. But if you're having trouble with internet connection, maybe try the desktop version. Is there a chance y'all could make an updated multiplayer tutorial? I don't think anything has really changed with the multiplayer system. So the 3 videos that are out now, I'm pretty sure are up to date. If they're not, could you leave a comment on the video that's not up to date and what's wrong with it? And I can look at it later. Okay, so 2 minutes now. What have we got? All right, we're still sticking with spawning. So we have 5 votes. Enemy spawning. All right. Let's start in on that. All right, so for enemy spawning, we need enemies first. Well, let me get this. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Now, we'll start with getting an enemy out. So I don't know what kind of enemies we'll add to this, but let's just type in enemy and see what happens. What do we get? Those are cute. Let's try to go with monster. We used that one last time. That one's nice. Let's just go with something simple. Demons. There we go. That's cool. Let's go with that one. And we'll check it and see what animations it's got. So its first animation is idle, but we want it to walk. So there's punch, death, fast flying, hit, react, headbutt, yes, no. I guess fast flying is the one we want. So let's move that to the top. So it's the first animation that plays because the one that's on top is the first one that plays when it's spawned. And it's set to loop, so we should be good. Let's see now. Is it good over there? Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. Okay. All right, awesome. And is it? It's off the ground. That's fine. That's fine. Maybe we'll make it a little bit smaller though. Default size. What's 164 divided by 2? 82. There we go. What's that like? Yeah, there we go. That works. Okay. So delete that there. And we want to make a new mechanic in here. So we're just going to make them spawn and then move towards the tower, and that's it. So we'll go with enemy spawn in event group. So we're going to use the spawner. So at the beginning of the scene, spawn object. That's why we made that earlier. Timer. Start an object timer. Perfect. Spawn. So we'll just call that enemy spawn. So it's started. And then when the timer ends for the spawn object, thankfully it comes up an autocorrect. Love that. Is greater than, let's go 2 seconds. Anything else too fast. We will create the object. Daemon at the spawn center X. Spawn center. I love the autocorrect. It's my favorite thing. No, it's a lie. The expression build is my favorite thing. That is the best thing. Okay. On the base layer, cool. Yes. Spawn there. That should be fine then. So if we... Oh no, we need to reset the timer. There we go. All right. Let's see. 1, Mississippi 2. There. Awesome. Okay. Now, because it's primarily a 2D game, we can just stick with 2D forces. So, force. Yep. Daemon. Don't worry about the Y direction. X direction, we'll go with positive 40. Make it permanent so it goes continuously without needing to reset it. And that seems like tower defense speed. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now we have enemies coming in and spawning and moving towards the base. All right. Cool. Let's do another vote. I know these are like little teasers, but I want to make sure we're doing the things that people want us to do rather than go off in some random direction that I think is interesting. So, enemy spawning, so we'll do with either health for the base, pathfinding for the enemies, towers attack the enemies. Oh, I've got cost for towers, but we're not going to worry about that yet. Post. Yeah, that should be good. All right. Your account mean... Huh? Hold on. Something's going on. Oh. Did it post? Yes, it did. Okay, awesome. Here's the link, folks. The link for the new vote is in chat. And it is now the pinned comment. All right. So we'll give it a few minutes. Go over to Twitter now, fast, quick, go over. And the vote is happening over there. The link is in chat. And while you're all voting, I'll look at the chat and answer some questions. Yes, actually, hold on. So along the bottom of the screen, you can also see, if you're interested at all, in the online mechanics or online features that the subscription gives you. There's a discount code for a 20% off discount for a yearly plan. So if you want that, go ahead, grab it. All right, so what's in chat here? What is the limit of the AI in terms of mechanics creating? Well, I know it can't interact with external scenes, and it can't right now make extensions of its own. But when it comes to the event sheet and objects in your scene, it's got pretty fair range. It also sees your variables and things like that. So that's aside from like a couple of the extra things, like extensions and custom objects and external events, it can pretty much do whatever you want. There is a limit to needing to know how to talk to it, though. So hopefully that helps your answers your question. What game engine is this? This is GDevelop, my favorite game engine. It is a no-code, open-source game engine that is honestly amazing. There's lots of videos out there. Actually, on this channel, you can check out. There's like why use GDevelop, 6 reasons to use GDevelop, all that stuff. Any advice for beginner devs? Start small. Start really small. Don't make an MMO as your first project. That's the best advice I think I've ever gotten. Hi, can you show some learning resources in the app? In the app, yes, yeah. In the app, there are some awesome learning resources. I made a lot of these actually, like the Essentials, the GTA, roguelike, and platformer. Those are all me. I think they're really great. The Essentials one is like the best one, period. And the first 3 chapters of the Essentials are free, and the first 1 chapter of these ones are all free. So if you want to check it out, go ahead. Essentials goes over everything I think somebody needs to know about the engine, except for 3D, because 3D wasn't, the 3D editor wasn't available when this was made, but it still covers all the other basics. Do you work for GDevelop? Yes, I do. I've been working for them for 4 years. I've been using the engine for, I think, 6 years, but I've been working with GDevelop for 4. How many servers will be available for my game if I go pro? Do you mean multiplayer? I believe it's unlimited for pro. I don't think there's a limit. It should say on the website if there is a limit, but I'm pretty sure it's unlimited for pro. Okay. Why is the AI chat expensive? GDevelop is a company. AI is actually really expensive, period. So we're not a big enough company to just absorb those costs, which is why it costs money to use the AI. But there are free credits, and everybody gets some, so that everybody gets to tinker with it and try it out before they pay. So if they don't want to pay, they don't have to. Is Firebase integration easy? I wish I could tell you. I'm not entirely sure. I know that people have used it for a lot of cool things, and there's some videos out there that are really good, but I've never personally used it. Please launch a game making course in GDevelop. We already have. There's a bunch of them. Okay, so going over to the Twitter poll. Now, what do we got? 10 votes this time for pathfinding for enemies. Awesome. Okay, so thankfully this one's pretty easy. So I'm going to jump in. I'll answer your questions after we get back. So I'm going to jump in, and this one's actually way easier than you assume it is, because largely because we're doing a 2D game. If it was a 3D game, it gets a little more complicated. There is a starter that does let you mix the 3D physics with the platform, with the pathfinding behavior, but it's a bit trickier. Thankfully, this is mostly 2D, so we can go to the daemon, add a behavior, type in pathfinding, and bada, pathfinding done. So we need an obstacle for pathfinding, so we'll use the towers. Behavior, add obstacle for pathfinding. So the tower is an obstacle for pathfinding and set to impassable. if it was set to, I turned this off, it would think about going through the tower. The higher this number is, the less likely it will go through the tower. But if I leave this checkbox on, it will just avoid the tower entirely. So we'll place a tower down when we start, and pathfinding. So instead of adding a force now, we'll get rid of the force being added, and instead we'll use pathfinding. No, go to daemon. Pathfinding. Wait, what? Let's manually find it. I'm not sure what the action is called, so. Pathfinding. Let's try path. Move to a position. That's what it's called. Okay. And the destination will be the base. Objects, center X. And center Y. Again, autocorrect is amazing. Okay, so it'll do those things, create the object, tell it to move with the pathfinding behavior. And it should just go from here to here again if we start. Might need to tweak the values because it's the default setting. Yeah, there it goes. That's kind of fast. Let's go daemon, behavior, max speed, let's go 75. A little less than half. What's that like? Yeah, that's about right. Okay. So, oh, wait, actually, I can test it right now. So I'm going to take a tower and place a tower down. It should... Oh, no, it won't. Yeah, the new ones are going around the old ones. Okay, I see. So what we're going to have to do is change the pathfinding of all the enemies when place unit. Will it work on its own? If I just do this, will it work for everything? So now when I place an object, will it pick a new location? Yeah, there we go. Awesome. So I can build things in the way of the objects. Cool. Awesome. So that's it. That's as simple as that. So they're pathfinding towards the base when they're first created, and then whenever I place something, it updates the pathfinding for all of the objects on scene. So it's, well, I placed it on top of him, so it doesn't count. But that way, oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, awesome. All right, cool. And any questions about that before we move to the next thing? Too many bugs. GDevelop can write code. Is GDevelop can write code? Yes. It's not what the engine is used for. Ideally, you'll use the no-code system for most of your game making and then use the JavaScript and stuff along with it, if that makes sense. Was my question too long? What was your question? Oh, hold on. If there's no questions about the pathfinding, not that I can see. Okay. All right, we'll move on to the next thing then. So, starting a new poll over on Twitter. So hop over there and get ready. Poll. So the poll will be either we'll add health to the base, add a wave mechanic for the enemies, or the towers can attack. Or hold on, I'll add the fourth option I was thinking of as well, just because. The cost for towers. Post. All right, folks. Go over to Twitter. I'm going to get the link for it right now. right. There's the new link, and it's now the pinned comment. All right, hop over there. And now again, don't forget, if you're interested, online perks, the subscription for GDevelop lets you do a lot of cool things. You can see the pricing page for more information on what it actually lets you do, but it gives you a lot of like interesting perks and things that make it easier to build your game and stuff. The best example is probably version history, which is super useful. I generally do it the old risky way where I save all my folders on my computer, which is risky and scary. So the best thing to do is to be using the cloud or some other kind of hosting service. But if you get a subscription, you'll be able to go back with your version control, back with version history, to go back and get different versions of your game that you've saved. So if you make a mistake, you can just jump back to the old version, which is really handy. So if you want a subscription, along the bottom of the screen, there's a banner, and it's 20% off a yearly subscription. So go for it. Okay, let me answer some questions in chat before moving on. Let's go up. Somebody said, is my question too long? I've exported my 3D terrain as GLB from Unity and imported to GDevelop. Camera depth, too flat, but solving them one by one. Any tips? I unfortunately don't have any tips for that. How to make a model look better when you're importing it in. I typically do 2D games. But, I mean, the field of view settings and camera settings are all in here. So if I go to Layers panel, get rid of groups, I can click on the base layer, and right here is... So here's the lighting and stuff, but the properties, so you can switch between perspective and orthographic camera, near plane distance, so you can show what is seen, isn't seen after a certain distance. And then the field of view here, that might help with the depth a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't mess around with 3D models very often. Okay, let's see now. Can you make a new series of making 2D side view game? Sure. If people vote for it, we'll do that. We'll be doing these live streams a lot, so I mean, it'll probably be a live stream if that's what you're in for. But we'll see. Version history saved me last night when I built. Oh gosh. When the built-in AI helper wiped out a bunch of my events. Oh, yeah. Look up the latest release. It's awesome. There's a for the AI, if it does something wrong, before you go back to your old save. But now it saves as it does things. So as it's building, it's saving like saves of the game to go back to, which is super useful. And it means that like even if the AI gets something wrong, you can just go back to the old version. How many coins does it cost to use the AI? I think the last time we did a live stream, it cost 100 credits to do a lot. Like there were a lot of questions asked. So whatever that works out to. Some credits are free, some you get with your subscription. So the value of them kind of fluctuates, so it's hard to say. I do not understand GDevelop well. If you're new to GDevelop, there is an intro tutorial playlist that we have on the channel that's like on the homepage. And I've been crafting that and morphing in that to try to make it as user-friendly as possible, beginner-friendly as possible, so that people can join the engine for the first time and get kind of an on-ramp. So if you're new to the engine, check out the intro tutorial playlist. It's on the homepage of the channel. Okay. How long has the vote been going for now? Yeah, it's 5 minutes. Okay, so 5 minutes. Towers attacking enemies. About time. Here we go. All right. So, towers attacking enemies. So there's a few different ways to do this. We could do ray casting or a projectile. I think projectile is probably the easiest one to do. It can be a little bit tricky with performance later, but for now we can stick with that. There are some things to do for performance that you can do to make it better. So, for example, make sure that bullets that go off screen get deleted and things like that. But for now, we will just go to. I wonder if there's an arrow model. Yes, there is. Skeleton arrow. Add to the scene. So skeleton arrow. We have that here for the tower. Is it a good size? Oh dear. Hello. There we go. Yeah, we'll probably see that. Yeah. We'll probably see that. That's probably fine. Okay, so what we'll do is make a new event. Group. Oh, actually. Right here where the object is made. When we place a tower, we can start a timer. So let's just do it here. Tower object timer. Start object timer. Call this one attack speed. So attack speed. And then down below that, we'll make a new group. Tower attack. And then grab that timer. Because I'm lazy. We'll call this tower, or use the tower object, and then use the attack speed timer for the tower object. And if that's greater than 1 second, sure. Greater than 1 second, we will. Oh, you know what? Hold on. I think the absolute fastest. Okay. I'm sorry. I have to backtrack a little bit. I just realized that the fastest solution, because we're making a 2D game, so the fire bullet extension is definitely the easiest way to do this. This one here. Awesome. Rotate bullet to match the trajectory. Firing rate of, we'll go with 0.5 seconds. Number of bullets 1. And apply. Awesome. Okay, so now instead of the timer and the timer, we will just make it so that when the demon enemy is distance to objects, demon to tower is, let's say, 100 pixels. 100 pixels away, we'll make the tower fire bullet towards an object. The X position where the. Okay, so we'll create the bullet in the tower's center. And center. Awesome. Bullet object is the arrow, and the target object is the demon. Speed will be 50, no, 100. Okay. Within 100, fire. Let's make that wider. Let's go 300. Fire arrow. So this, I think this should work the way it is now. Let's see. Because the behavior automatically handles the fire rate. See if it'll start firing. Oh, there it goes. Those arrows are tiny. Real tiny. Arrows. Let's make those bigger. We'll double it. What's that like? There we go. Now we can see better. Okay. Awesome. And again, because it's technically a 2D game, or well, it's 2D perspective, we can just check collision. Nope, I am clicking in action. Inside the tower text section, collision between the arrow and the demon. Okay. And we will delete the arrow. Awesome. So when it hits the enemy, it'll delete the arrow. Place a tower. Place 2 towers. See what happens. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. Yeah, they're being deleted. Okay. Now we are sending a lot of bullets off screen. So that performance thing I was talking about when you have too many arrows. So if we let them fly off screen like that, we'd have so many arrows and it would just lag the game out and it'd be terrible. So off screen, destroy when objects out. Yeah, here we go. Destroy when outside screen. So the margins, because it's 2D, I'm not sure if it'll take the angle into account. Let's see what happens. If it plays towers here, will it delete them if they go up to the top? How far out here will they go? No, we're hitting every single one's hitting. Miss already, would you? Oh no, they're being deleted up here. Oh, okay, so that is the margin. Okay, so we need to change the margin. So let's make it 2000, and that way they'll be deleted further up screen. So that'll widen the area that it checks for whether or not they're on screen. Come on. Miss the enemy. Miss. There it goes. Okay, now it goes all the way off screen. Okay. Let me check and see how far they're going. Where's 2000? I say 2000. 2000. Oh, let's go to 2D editor. So down here in the corner, you'll see the where my cursor is on screen when you're on the 2D editor. So I can check where 2000 is. So 2000 pixels is like, oh gosh, way up here. That's too big. Okay. Let's say 500 instead then. That's here-ish, which is outside of the bounds we were talking about, so that's fine. All right, cool. So now we'll delete the arrows when they fly out to about here, and there's less of an issue with performance. So that's all good. Let me pop back over to chat really quick, see if anyone's screaming at me. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, okay, so this will be the last mechanic we add because there's not much time left in the stream. We're going to go for about an hour. So really quickly on Twitter, last mechanic. Hop over to Twitter and get ready to vote, please. Okay, so we got health for the base, health for the enemies, or cost for the towers. There we go. And posted. I didn't include the waves that time because I feel like getting something to die on screen is probably more important. Getting some values going. All right, there it is. There's the link for it. It's now in the pinned comment. Vote away. We'll try to get this done real fast. Why Twitter? Because both YouTube and Twitch, and we're streaming on both, have rules against telling people to go to one or the other. So Twitter is where we're hosting the voting to. That way we're not telling people to go to either one. Okay, let me go through the chat here really quick. Any other questions here? Could you make GDevelop in Spanish? We are currently in the middle of talking to YouTube about auto dubbing. We don't currently have the ability to get whole new channels set up for different languages, but auto dubbing is probably the best we're going to get. So hopefully we can get that worked out. Right now, though, the intro tutorial playlist on this channel works with auto dubbing. The whole playlist. It doesn't cover every language, obviously, but it covers a lot of the major languages. So if you want to go check that out, that might help you. But we're probably not going to get the entire channel dedicated to a single language. So auto dubbing will probably be the way to go. What's next? We got, what does video FX do? Can AI generated JavaScript code be used in an extension? I think so. I've seen a lot of people using like shaders and things that they've made with other chatbots and AI tools. So maybe. Well, yeah, the answer is yes, for sure. How to do it, I don't know, fortunately. Okay. Is it hard to show tower attack radius? Not really, actually. It's not that hard. I think there's a tutorial on this channel actually for tower defense games that you can go check out, and I believe we added a tower radius there. We used the paint shaper with the circle. Okay, so we're running out of time here now. So let me go over to Twitter. And what is the next mechanic you want to vote for? Let me just refresh, make sure I get the correct answer. Cost for towers. Okay, cost for towers. Okay, real quick. I'm surprised we didn't go with killing anything, but killing anything is pretty straightforward. You add a variable, and then when you delete the object for the collision, you just subtract from the variable on the object. So for costing of things, let's go to what's the simplest way to do this? The fastest way to do this will probably be let me see. Score counter. Yes, here. So I know that's not a coin. That's that's a star, but it'll still be very useful because this object here, I'm going to put it on the UI layer. This object here is great for keeping track of a single number, like a value, and handling all the adding and subtracting for you without having to make a variable. You can make a variable, but this will just be a little faster. So we hit yellow score counter. We will call that our money pool. All right. Apply. Now show the base layer again. Okay. So that'll be up in the top left corner because it's on the UI layer. And we'll go to, when we're placing a unit, we'll check the value of that object. So money pool score is greater than, let's say towers cost 5. Okay, so 5. Awesome. So if we have 5 greater than or equal to, greater than or equal to 5 points, then we'll be able to place the tower down. So then we need to get points in a way. So we'll start with the starting score. We'll start with 10, so we can place 2 towers down. And when we place them, we will score money pool, subtract 5. So it'll cost 5. Okay. And then when we don't have a way to kill them yet, but if we did have a way to kill them, I'll put a little note here for collision. Collision for death later. Okay. So you'd put in here, this is where you would earn money and kill the enemy. Okay. So you would put in here, change score when they die, right? If they were to die, then you would add a value to this here. We're not going to do it now, but this game will be shared, so people can build off this later if they want to, or tinker with it. So now we go to the game scene. When I preview the game, because we set this to 10. All right. The tower here, click, and place. Oh, no. This doesn't update, so I think I have to update that first. Well, let's get rid of the score here. At the beginning of the scene, up at top, score, set to 10. Okay. There we go. So it starts with 10. Awesome. I love the scrolling effect it has. So when I place it, we lost 5. And place it, lost 5. So when I click again, nothing's happening. So click, 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 click. I don't have the money, so nothing's happening. Awesome. So that right there is how you would do a cost for the thing. And if you wanted to, really quick, I know we're a little over time, but it's really interesting. You can set it here inside the tile select object, right? Variable cost, tower cost, for example. Money 5, apply. So in here, instead of this, we would check tile name. What does we check? Oh, this name. Okay, so it's checked here. So it's not checked here, so I can't do it quite so easily. Anyhow, I was gonna put a variable in for the object and use that variable instead, which you can still do. You can still do that. So we can do tower. Nope. Tile selection button. Tower cost. So now we'll use 5. But if we put in 3 different variables, we could have 3 different values in there and make each tower cost different amounts. But that'll still work there. So if I go full screen, place, and then I can't place other ones. All right. Cool. That's it, folks. We just hit the hour mark. Well, we went a little bit over. So I'm going to stop it there and remind you again that the game here will be shared at the end of the stream. We'll put a link to it in the description of this video and share it on social media later. So if you want the file to tinker with the game or keep building off of it or see how things work, you can have that. And if you want a subscription while you're waiting, down at the bottom of the screen, there's a code there for Build With Me that will let you get a 20% discount off on a yearly subscription for some online features and perks that are really helpful, like version control, like we mentioned earlier. That's it. So if there's no immediate questions I can see, we will end. I have a coupon. Is there a 3D outline effect? Not yet. Is it possible to procedurally code in sprites or models with the engine? Technically, yes, you can. You can create a custom object, and then the custom object can hold all the other ones and use that as child objects for the animation. But yeah. Okay, I think we're definitely out of time. So I'm going to end there. Again, the game will be shared on social media, and the code is below. So that'll be available for 24 hours. If you get it, you got it. If you don't got it, then it's going to be gone. And we'll be back again next week on Wednesday. So we'll see you then.